This is how the world's most expensive perfume material sounds like. An ancient perfume material slowly has become a global standard. From the most luxurious perfume houses in the West to the most luxurious perfume makers in the Middle East, everyone loves the smell of oud. Agarwood has a very significant cultural association with people in the Middle East, India, and countries in the Far East, China, and Japan. They have dedicated schools to burning agarwood, enjoying the process of incense. So guys, first we need to understand two very broad categories of agarwood. Now this is very essential in understanding the different types of woods, guys. So I would like you to pay attention. Now let's start with plantation wood. Now plantation wood is basically something which is grown artificially. It is not found in the wild. It is nice smelling, but it does not have the magic of old wild wood which is found in the wild by accident. However, plantations are artificially cultivated agarwood trees, and they have come up in India long back, 40-50 years back. In Southeast Asia there is a rampant growth of plantation agarwood all over. So guys, let me show you the basic differences between how these would look like, and there are some confusing pieces in here as well. So this is how a standard plantation wood piece should look like. If you see closely, this has got good amount of resin on it, all right, but you see the piece is not completely dark colored. It has a lot of white patches, which suggests that this wood does not have a really deeper infection. All right, the areas where the wood becomes dark is suggestive of resination, which is the natural agarwood formation, and it may form due to physical damage, an insect burrowing the wood and causing an infection inside. Fungal molds can come up, which can lead to agarwood formation. So everything that can potentially cause damage to the trees will eventually lead to agarwood formation, and this is only found in about 8% of the total number of trees in a particular area. So it's a very small amount that we are talking here. So this is how an artificially cultivated, inoculated piece of agarwood looks like. It's light, it is very thin, all right, like wafers of chips, potato chips, something like that. But when you take up a wild piece, it will have a typical appearance like this. Now this is a very special sort of piece, which is almost like moderate grade. It's not too expensive, not too on the higher scale. You can see this is a more solid piece. It has proper resination on the outside, and if you cut this piece through and through, you will see some resonated parts in here. Now let me show you something which can confuse you. Have a look at this piece. This is even darker, it appears even heavier, but when you touch this piece, you will find some dust, almost rust like material coming onto your hands. This is plantation wood, all right. Usually what they do in the jungles is put iron nails into these trees, and these trees are forcefully inoculated with some organic material at times as well, or just leaving the nails there causes physical trauma to the trees, leading to agarwood formation. So this appears awesome, this looks awesome, all right, and it also sinks. This is a very heavy piece, so it may confuse a new buyer into thinking that this is a wild agarwood piece, but it's not. You can see the hollow points where they've put nails, and you get that rusty material onto your hands, and it does not smell too good as well. Most of these wild chips, usually of a high grade quality, will carry a very soft, barny, sweetish, sourish sort of smell, which is very reminiscent of putting a chip on the burner. And with the most higher grade woods, the smell becomes even stronger. So this is a basic difference. Now let me show you a very basic plantation wood chip. All right, on the outside it looks fantastic. You can see the resin patterns, and see this wood is almost hollow and has a whitish part on the opposite side. All right, these smell good as well, and these are quite affordable as compared to these ones. So if someone is looking for oud at an affordable price, these could be their go-to. But guys, it does not give you the ultimate pleasure, the spiritual pleasure that these wild agarwood pieces possess. So these are especially for people who are on a budget, or people who are just entering into the world of ouds, because this thing gets more and more complicated with experience. So guys, these are typical Gyronops woods, Gyronops agarwood species, which are basically found in the coastal regions. And there's something which I found of particular interest. Most of these chips have a lot of fiber content. So this is very hard wood, this is a very hard piece of wood, and it's a proper solid piece. You find the resination, and you find these thick fibers at the bottom. All right, this is very typical with coastal wood. You can see some fibers here as well. Now this is Sri Lankan Gyronops from the island of Sri Lanka, and you can see the similar sort of fibers in here. Lot of fibers, then you have some moss formation up here, and you've got resin embedded in between. I need all of you to focus on this piece of wood that I have, and you can see it's a whitish looking piece, but it's one of the most beautiful pieces that you can imagine. But there's a lot of dirt added here at the bottom, which I can easily take out. Now the oud market is full of cheats, because it's a huge market. It's a very expensive market, very expensive commodity. So everyone tries to fool you. Sometimes they glue chips to larger pieces of wood, which have a very horrifying plasticky sort of smell when you put it on heater, because of that Fevicol, that Fevikwik sort of Fevibond sort of smell comes out, and it just chokes you out. And then you get a lot of these pieces filled with mud, so that the weight of this is increased, and you get a much higher price for this piece, confusing any new buyer. So we always must look for these signs. Looking at a huge batch, of course, if you are buying a batch in bulk, it's very difficult to look at those pieces individually. But if you're buying like 10-15 pieces, it's very easy to spot these problems. Always carry a flash torch with you, because most of those joints which are stuck together with glue can be easily made out. They will shine out when you flash a light, or you can just use an instrument like this, or even a pen, to just chisel out some of this dirt from this fine piece of agarwood. Now guys, there are some special instances here, some special types of wood that I need to talk about. There's something called as heavy sinking wood, which basically means that the wood is so heavy with resination that it immediately sinks in a bowl filled with water. All right, so it sinks to the bottom, something like this. Now this is a beautiful piece. You can see the golden fibers running through and through. This is a beautiful piece of oud, and it smells gorgeous even at room temperature. I don't need to put it on a burner or a heater. It just smells so gorgeous. It has that faint leathery smell of agarwood, and it's got some nice fruity, sour, sweet and sour berries smell to it. It's a very beautiful piece. It's a very old piece, gifted to me from a friend. So they had this piece in their family. It's a very special type of wood. So these sort of woods are very rare to come by, but you have to understand that these woods look very, very similar to some of the new fake woods, which are polished or have this false layer of coating, of dark coating over the wood to fool you guys. So smelling a wood is also a very important part of experiencing its smell. Now there are some smaller sinking nuggets which look like this. Now this is a beautiful sinking piece from Borneo, from the island of Borneo, and you can see the resonation goes across the wood. It's not just on the sides, which is usually seen with plantation wood. The infection has already crossed the outer core and has entered the inside, or the heartwood as we call it. So this is also a sinking piece, but it's a very small sinking nugget from the island of Borneo. Now most of these smells will differ, and according to the regions they'll have a special smell character of their own. Now this is a very fine piece of wood. It may just look simple to you because it looks all white. It doesn't have the brown resonation pattern which it's usually found with the woods or the chips that I have. But this is a special Vietnam yellow soil incense grade wood. So incense grade wood is again something which can give you a lot of smoke, beautiful smelling incense smoke. So that agar resin actually burns up, fires up to give you one of the most beautiful smells, and this may trick you. So the only way to test these is to put a small piece on the burner and experience the smell. Don't go by the buyer's word. You have to smell this piece before you decide to buy it off. Now there's something called as Kyara in Japan and Kinam in China and other regions. So guys, this is a special type of agar wood which is probably the most valued or the most precious sort of oud that you can find in the world. Now most of these woods, these special sort of woods, are from a company known as Agar Aromas, which basically belongs to one of the legends in the game. His name is Mr. Anthony Bolton, and I'll put down his email ID below where you can ask him for samples. You can buy off samples of woods. He also distills some oils from these woods. So he's a very nice gentleman, very trusted name in the business. And these are not the finest Kyara pieces that I've encountered. My finest Kyara pieces came from Kyara Zen, and Kyara Zen is a very respected incense making company. They also sell woods. They've also sold oils in the past, oud oils in the past. I'll mention their website link below. However, be cautious guys. Their website, whenever it uploads some new materials, it's sold out within a few hours or within a few days. That's their reputation in the market. So guys, this Kyara wood is formed because of a special reaction. Most of these wood pieces are found buried underneath the ground. So nobody is sure where these come from. There's a hypothesis that these are found only in Vietnam, Vietnamese subtype of agar wood and Chinese subtype of agar wood, but many recent findings tell you a different story. So you just need to understand that the basics of this is that this sort of wood has a lot of resinous pattern. It has a lot of resins. Basically the wood fibers have completely converted to something gummy, something resinous, something of a thick waxy character. That's what Kyara is, and it does not require an actual burning to be able to appreciate its smell. It's used in mostly Japanese and Chinese incense houses. It has a very beautiful uplifting smell, a linear, sharp, brain numbing sort of smell, and that's why it is regarded as one of the most precious materials on this planet. Now guys, here I have a bunch of the most beautiful oud pieces found in the Indian market. Have a look at these pieces. Just look at these pieces. You can pause the video and look at these pieces. This is how a moderate grade agar wood piece should look like. This is not even the top grade, and people say that India doesn't have good agar wood anymore, but guys, this is all old stock found with the most reputed sellers. I'll put down the links to approach them. This is from the brand Agarwood Assam. Very kind gentleman. Look at this piece. It's so beautiful. You can see these almost look like Rocky Mountains. These look like mountains. These pieces are my favorite pieces, my favorite Indian pieces, and this thin sheet will actually burn on the heater for almost 10 to 15 minutes, giving you a beautiful smell. It has the potential of filling up a whole room or fumigating your clothes with the beautiful resinous smell of agar wood, and the smell will keep on coming to you for a very long period of time, let's say 10 to 12 hours. Look at these pieces. This is how actually nice agarwood pieces should look like. Now I'll show you one more piece, very interesting piece. You can see this is very dark colored, very nice on the outside, but when you see inside is all white fiber. So this is where the oud oil comes from, and this is where the resin comes from. So if you have a hard piece like this will not be chosen to make an oud oil. Most of the oud oil comes from this whitish part and maybe a little bit of the chipping of these sort of resinous, thick resinous wood pieces. Now that's something which nobody is going to tell you in the market. So guys, now let me take you through the burners that I use to burn agarwood, and each one of these serves a different purpose. Alright, these are different burners for burning different sorts of agarwoods in different styles, in different manners, so you can enjoy the finer aspects. The first one is a voltage controlled incense burner, which basically utilizes a power source. So you need a power outlet with a voltage control system here. So if you can see, there are markings. This is 120, 150, 160, 180 degrees, and I can control this with the help of a controller. Now this is required to burn high quality woods or top grade incense woods. This has a mica plate up here. So mica is a very good conductor, you can say, of heat, and it won't burn you. It will never burn your hands, and it will give you the perfect temperature to burn this. And you will be provided with mica plates, of mica sheets rather, of this size. So what you can do is place your mica plate up here. There'll be about 50 or 100 different plates in here which you can reuse. You can also wash these, because the residue from the burning wood gets stuck on the on these plates. I'll show you that. So what you can do is use hydrogen peroxide, or just use soap and water to scrub those off, and you can keep on using these mica plates. These can be used for almost 10-20 times, or even more than that, if you use low temperatures. Now you can see a beautiful piece up here. This was part of the Brunei sample that I showed you. Now what I do is I usually start with the lowest temperature, which is 12 here, which is approximately 120 degrees. Now what it does is it passes the heat through the coil inside here, which is basically copper, and it provides low heat. And most of the woods which contain a lot of resin, or even high amounts of oil, these will benefit from these sort of temperatures, because it helps. The purpose of it basically is to heat the resin and not the wood fibers, so you get a pure smell of oud. And you can also use that for fumigation if you have high grade chips that I showed you. Especially the Hindi chips from Zakir, from Agarwood Assam. You can use that, which almost burns for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes on this temperature. So it gets absorbed well into your clothes, and it can last for 9 to 10 hours. So you don't need to wear an oud fragrance or an oud oil for that matter. Alright, the next set is also very interesting. We'll put this aside and we'll shift to the ceramic burner. Now this set is also a voltage controlled one. You can see here it is. This gives you a very nice voltage control. It also has a display. I got this from Ensar Oud. I'll put down the links below. For this as well, I'll put down the email below where you can mail the person and order this. So this is a proper ceramic burner. The material is totally different. It has a very smooth heating surface, which is basically ceramic material. Alright, it's porcelain, and there's a beautiful piece inside. Now what happens, guys, this provides a very soft temperature for precious woods like Kyara, which are extremely expensive and require the gentlest heat, the most gentle heat to heat up the resin inside. You don't need to burn the wood fibers. You will completely waste that. I mean, 1 gram of Kyara is extremely expensive, so you need to preserve that. So what it does is provides a very soft heat, a gentle heat for a prolonged period of time. So you get pure whiffs of Kyara. Now the purpose of this is to enjoy the smell of Kyara in your room, to fill the smell of Kyara, to fill your room with the smell of Kyara, etc. And you don't need to worry about fumigating your clothes, etc. You just need to have a beautiful smelling experience. It's like a spiritual experience. It's like burning incense, but instead of practicing something as gentle as the manko session, or your typical kodo sessions from Japan, where they put these mica plates over some rice powder, and at the bottom they place a small piece of charcoal, which provides the most gentle heat to heat up smaller pieces, smaller slivers, I mean the smallest slivers of agar wood or kyara. So that's a very tedious process. You just need a ceramic heater like this to give you the same experience without going through the hassle of preparing the whole traditional kodo system. Now the third, or the simplest one, is charcoal. Now this charcoal is what you get generally in the market for shisha or hookah. Now there are some other charcoals which are made of coconut husk. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them on eBay, you can also get them at the shisha stores. This has a lot of charcoal content, all right, but the coconut husk charcoal does not have those harsh smelling chemicals in them. So what you have to do is put these on a traditional burner or a mubakra, wait for these to burn almost for 20 minutes or 15 minutes, let the whole coal get covered by ash, by a thick layer of ash, and what it does, it gives a gentle heat to your woods. That's the purpose, guys. That's the aim, to heat the resin and not the wood pieces. If you put the most beautiful piece of agar wood on a burning charcoal, don't expect it to burn and give you pleasure, because you get the smell of wood, which is anomalous. You don't want that. You just need the smell of the resin. That is the actual agar incense. So what people in the Arab world do, I mean the general people, they place a lot of these beautiful thick sinking pieces over a huge burning mubakra. There are a lot of coals inside. It's very hot, and they place it. So it's nice for a mehfil, or an arrangement where you have a lot of people and you just need to pass around the burner. For that purpose, that's perfect. And even to fumigate your clothes, you need something like this. You just need the traditional burner. You place the coal and you just place the piece of wood and hang your shirt or your clothes or your robe, your shawl, whatever you want to fumigate it with, the agar smoke. Just place it on a cloth hanger, or simply hold it with your hand and place this thing at the bottom. The smoke will come up, get absorbed in your clothes. You need high heat, you need a proper burning to get that fumigation effect from your clothes. But for personal use, this is the ideal burner, and this for even the most sophisticated noses who only are looking to test the quality of the material or to understand the whole olfactory spectrum of the wood. This is a perfect burner. Then this is for oud minimalists. This is for people who love to smell loud, who love to show off the beautiful smell of agar wood. There's nothing wrong in it. It smells absolutely heavenly. So these are some of the most important apparatuses that you can have.